Hey folks, it's time for TWiP PRO Photo Critique number 86. This is TWiP. Hey, welcome back to another session of the TWiP PRO Photo Critique series. This is number 86. I'm here with my good buddy and partner in crime, Mr. Troy Miller, to 86, man, we've done this. That's crazy, huh?
Very crazy. It's too much.
It was like we just started. We just started doing these.
That's because we love what we do.
Yeah,
right?
It's fun. It's fun. We get to lord over photos and share our, questionably qualified opinions about the.
We're nitpickers extraordinaire. That's what it is.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Well, we got 13. This week's critique topic was curves.
Curves, yes.
Curves, yeah. And there's some curvy shots in here. So
that was whoever thought that up thought of a good idea. That was a good idea.
I'm gonna insert some cricket sound effects right there.
They're not always good ideas, though. Apparently.
No, that was good.
Didn't go over well.
That was a good one, and that's gonna trigger that triggered the next week one, which I picked, and that one's gonna be parallel lines. Parallel lines. Yeah. Like there's lots of those in nature and not so much nature.
There are.
So
there's some in the blinds behind you.
Look at that. Parallel lines are
everywhere.
Right over there. Right over there.
Yeah.
Or kind of my glasses.
My glasses. I know, I was just going to say.
It's parallel.
You guys can't use any of our ideas.
No.
Think of your own.
Someone's going to submit the most obscure, hidden parallel line. We won't be able to find it. It'll be like, okay, what's parallel in this shot? And they'll be like, oh, well,
I love that.
If you draw a line from that star to that star, and then from this here, it creates a parallel line.
That's all right. We get to nitpick it anyway, so it's perfect.
That's right. That's right. We will parallel line it apart.
That's it.
All right. You ready to dive in?
Yeah. I've already started looking. There's a lot of good ones in here. So.
All right, for sure. All right. So let's bring up TWiP PRO, the TWiP PRO photo community. If you want to join us, you can head over to TWiPPro.com, TWiPPRO.com, and you can join in this craziness that we're about to dive into. So the first one is Armando Brook.
Yeah.
Armando says, this was in Miami Beach with my small Sony RX100 M3. Look at that. See, now that's an aggressive border on that. So I question this because I'm thinking, if this is a series of images and they're all sort of, the white space is a thing and you're communicating something with that thing. But where do you fall on that? Like having just the border on there and all that, it feels like wasted space to me. I don't know.
Oh, I love it. I love that gallery weighted mount where it's heavier on the bottom than it is on the top. I mean,
it's got the Jay Leno chin on there.
I dig it. It's it's very classic. If you walk into a gallery, you're going to see it, mounted and matted in this manner, and I kind of come from that. So I like that. I do.
But that doesn't scale down though, because when I hear that, and in that experience, I totally appreciate the white space when they're hanging in a gallery type environment. But online, when things are smaller, and people are looking at this and consuming this on a mobile device, a phone, at the very, maybe that might be the primary way that someone observes this photo. It seems like you're squeezing the usable area down a lot for display on a little handheld device, if that's going to be the primary consumer of this. If it's going to be hanging in real life, yeah, make it as big, do it, go crazy. But you gotta, as photographers, if your intended audience is going to be primarily online, you gotta shoot for the end result and even if you do mat it like this, you gotta take it into understanding that your image is not going to fill the screen, and the screen is small, on an XY basis.
Well, if that's maybe I don't want to fill your screen. Maybe I want to bring the image in from the edge of your phone and all your fingerprints and cookie crumbs. you know,
Yeah.
and I want to make the image in the middle. So, I mean, the border has a purpose. You're absolutely right, though. I mean, if you want to see as much of the image as possible online or on a mobile device, you got to be considerate of that border.
And that means knowing your audience too, right? So
right, yeah, and the intent of your image. So yeah. I dig his images. I always love his saturation. I always love how much Armando pushes his colors and stuff. I am seeing some halos around the life dingy donut thing. I'm trying. I don't know what to call it.
Life preserver. Or a lifesaver. What's that?
I just needed a few more mental cycles to get the right word. But I dig it. I love the composition. I wish there was a little more room on the left. I feel like that's a little bit tight, and you could lose a little bit on the right, get it a little bit more into thirds. But other than that, I really like it. Good use of color and good use of curves.
Yeah. And I see, and Armando, it's not lost on me the geometry in the shot. I see what you're doing there. I see the square around the life preserver, the vertical line in the middle, the horizontal line of the horizon, sort of bisecting the sky, the ocean, and the sand in three pieces. I see it all, man. So good work. Very nice.
Yeah, it's well done. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Thank you, Armando.
All right. Next shot up is from Stephen Scharf. Let me go back. So Stephen says this is St. Mary's Cathedral in San Francisco, California. Look at that shot.
I'm just in love with this shot. I just think this is amazing.
Look how precise Stephen is, like on between these lines here, you know, right there and right there. It looks like it's about dead on, right? And then there's just all the geometry in here is crazy. I love it.
Yeah, one of the things that I really enjoy is, and it seems insignificant, is if you follow that black center column all the way down to the black border, there's a little bit of the lighter color building sort of stopping it right there.
Right there, yeah.
I like that, so it doesn't bleed into the surrounding border. The symmetry on this is wonderful, and the highlight on the right hand side that sort of breaks the mirror is really wonderful. Yeah, it's really well done.
Yeah,
I really
breaks the symmetry without that highlight. Well, I mean the highlight goes all the way up the side, but even if you took that sort of convex shape over there off of there, and you just had the highlight on one side and the shadow on the other, I think it would have been less interesting than having that bump on the right side.
Right.
It would still be, I mean, if that bump wasn't on the right side, it'd be even more symmetrical, but I think that would have taken it even more out of being a photograph and into being more of an illustration at that point. But that bump on the right side is just the right amount of imperfection, quote, or off balance to make this even more interesting.
Right. Yeah. I will say on the lower right-hand corner, 1, 2, 3, the fourth row of tiles, if you will, and the fifth tile in, there's 2 dots.
Oh, look at you. I'm going to guess that was there.
Yeah, but it needs to not be there.
Is that those 2 dots?
Yeah.
I can't believe you counted in. You're like, you got to say that again with an extremely nasally voice.
I sink your battleship.
Exactly.
Yeah, it needs to be gone. That's just setting my OCD off right now.
These right here, Stephen. For some reason, those 2 little dots are pushing on Troy's molars.
Yes. That's it. It's grating.
Grating in the back of your like eating
That's
ice.
it. Yeah.
All right, Stephen Scharf. Thanks, man. That was awesome.
Like being forced to eat guacamole.
Oh, I love guacamole. What's the matter with you? And you're from California. Well, you're not from California, but you're a Californian transplant. You can't not like guacamole.
I can. I definitely can.
I can and I will. All right, next shot up is from Joshua Sommerfeld. Joshua says, photograph this flamingo on my Sunday trip to the zoo. Nope, not a snake. I hope I didn't ruin anyone's bet. I didn't bet on that.
We knew Joshua would do a
I
snake.
bet on geckos. Or alligators. No.
Yeah, that would have been too obvious.
Yeah. No, this is cool. This is cool.
Great.
This is definitely fits into the criterion of the this particular critique, and I love how he pushed that background down a little bit to bring the flamingo up.
Right. Yeah, it's very cool. Flamingos are scary. They just scare me.
They look mad. Why is he so pissed off?
They look like little demons. They're like earthborn bird
evil.
demons.
That is an evil face. Now that you say that, you just kind of look at it. He just looks malicious.
Yeah, when he opens his mouth, there's slime in there, and there's another mouth inside there.
All right. Oh my god. The alien flamingo. That's I think you should write that script, Troy.
But speaking to the image,
yes,
I love it.
Not to the alien within the alien.
Yeah, it's hidden. It's a hidden alien. It's a beautifully hidden alien in there. But I like the fact that we don't have to see the flamingo's legs. Like, it seems so often in the shots of flamingos, you feel compelled to show their legs. Mm-hmm. But this is great. This is awesome. Good color, good curves. I mean, we're nearly completing a figure 8 or an infinity loop.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I dig it. Yeah,
and
it's tack sharp, and he's looking at you. He's coming to get you.
I'm very scared. Yeah. I really don't have a lot to add to this. I think it's well done. Composition is good. Background is nice. Good separation. Good focus. Yeah, it's solid. I like it.
Yes, very cool. Now you got my brain thinking about what that evil flamingo is thinking about. He's looking at Joshua thinking, man, do not let me get over there, man.
That's right. And think about how far he could strike, right? Like, that neck is what, like 2 feet long?
Yeah.
He'd take off some fingers.
The things of nightmares, flamingos.
Yeah. People let their kids near those.
All right, next one up is from Lamb. And Lamb says, last minute change of mind. I am submitting the new photo to replace the previous one, which I have deleted just now. The new photo focuses on the peacock's tail, which was low angle shot with a super wide zoom to emphasize the many beautiful colors, curves of various elements of the tail. By the way, thanks for the cheer given to the previous photo. Okay, shot this with his Nikon D3. Boom. There you go. What do you think, Troy Miller?
That is crazy. I want to know what it's made out of. Like, is that sand or something that they laid in there? Mm-hmm. That is really amazing. I think that, for me, for an image like this, that I almost wish that it was cropped in where we didn't see the people or even the bird in the distance and just the abstract artwork on the floor.
Oh, just this piece, like it's square.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's really what this image is showing us, right? The rest of it's kind of background noise, if you will. I like the fact that it's in the context of the mall, but as far as like the artwork piece of it goes, the tail and the colors and the squares of the tile versus the curves of, the tail artwork is just, it's really, really quite cool. Lots of cool colors.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And I want to know what this represents. Does it have like a meaning, or is it like an art show that's going on there? Because the rails around the outside are all covered in like flowers and stuff too. So
yeah, I think this is when people in the region celebrate the annual NBC Day.
Oh. Oh, it's going to be one of those kind of shows. Okay.
I was watching your face. I was just sort of pulling you in.
No, I got it. I was making sure you didn't switch to me without me knowing.
I should have got the reaction shot in there. That would have been great. Oh, man. Well, cool shot, Lamb. Thank you. Yeah, this is definitely beautiful. I love the colors.
Yep.
You nailed it, obviously, on the critique topic. Yeah, this is really cool. I agree with Troy, though. Yeah, I'd love to. These folks out here, I don't care about. I care about that flamingo and the tail. And if you wanted to go fully abstract, chop it off right there, and maybe clone out this knee or whatever that is in the lower left-hand corner,
and get that little white speck on the lower left corner of the tail.
This right here.
Left. That's the right side.
Oh, this right here. Oh. Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
Oh, poor Margie. Oh, man. Margie, did you know that there was a leaf on the driveway when I drove up to the house?
I like leaves on my driveway, just not one.
Just not one?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Be a proper number.
Exactly. It must be either 1, 3, or 6.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Next, we're having too much fun, man.
I know.
Next shot is from James Glenny. James says, a few of my favorite round things. I've always loved the rounded shape and texture of coffee beans, and I thought I'd combine that with the round espresso cup, saucer, and little round bubbles in the espresso itself.
You know, James, we always love your shots. You said round a lot.
He did say round in there a lot.
Yeah, it was curves. I mean, I'm just going to say.
Well, technically, round is a curve. It's just an infinite curve. It's an infinite curve.
Well, is it? Is it an infinite curve?
Yeah.
Then it's a circle. It's like left and right are different.
I guess that depends on your, what laws of quantum physics you subscribe to.
This is true. So this is coffee. I don't drink coffee, so I don't know if it's supposed to be foamy like that.
It can be foamy. You have to intentionally do that, though.
No, coffee is like avocados and guacamole. I don't touch them.
You are not human. I don't understand.
I love the image. I love the colors. It's leaning a little bit to the right, which
it is. I knew that was totally gonna just put a thumbtack in your OCD.
But I dig it, and James, I appreciate the fact that you always have such good complementing colors in your shots. So
that's right, he does.
That's intentional. Yeah,
and he's got the key line around the edge there.
He does. Look at that presentation. I love it.
You're influencing a lot of people here, Troy Miller, with your key line proclivities.
Hey, there's not a majority of black and white, so there's two, maybe one, two, yeah.
And Craig Stampfli intentionally titled his Pandering.
I know.
That was the file name, was Pandering.
We'll get to there.
All right, James Glenny, thank you, sir.
Yeah, good shot, James.
Yeah,
love
keep coming. Yeah, but I did see that. Let me go back to this one. That was the first thing I saw when I looked at it, because of the strong key line and the geometrical shapes in here. It made the tilt even more obvious. It was even more. If it was more of a high frequency scene, we might have not seen it. Well, I wouldn't have seen it. You would have seen it. But yeah, just a hair to the left to rotate it, it would have been spot on.
Yep. Yeah. Once you see that, you can't unsee it, and once you learn to see it, the whole world is crooked. I mean, I drive down the freeway and I see street signs that are crooked. Drives me nuts.
Oh my God! To live in Troy world would be just. You need to be like on Gattaca or Logan's Run or something. Those societies.
Logan's Run, yeah. No, Gattaca, they live longer. So
yeah, that's true. All right, moving right along. Next shot is from Eric Pronsky. What's up, Eric? Eric says, Houston skyline locked up, image taken at blue hour through an opening on the fence of a pedestrian bridge overlooking Allen Parkway with the headlights and taillights of cars passing by. The locks were attached to the opening in the fence. In Photoshop, I composited the image with one that focused on the locks with one that was focused on the skyline. Okay, shot with this Sony A7R3. Okay, this is a composite then. Okay, nice.
Yeah, it felt like it had a composite-ish feel to it.
I didn't immediately get that. To be honest with you, maybe I should have, but looking at it at first glance, I was thinking of that bridge in Paris where they have all the locks on, and I was like, yeah, this is a plausible kind of perspective.
I think that when you have something like that's so close foreground is sharp and such a distance is sharp, our brains have a hard time processing that because it doesn't make sense, right? So I think that in this case, it's more believable if the foreground had been slightly soft. Just a little bit. So we know they're locks. We can see the numbers. We can still read the writing, but slightly soft as opposed to tack sharp.
Yeah, to more sell the reality of it all, right?
Yeah, but still expand the ability of in camera, because I think with in camera you wouldn't be able to get it, even slightly out of focus. It would go a lot, just because of the depth of field and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I really like it. I think it's a really amazing, I was going to say composition, meaning in the way that it's laid out, not as in elements stacked, but I like the framing with the locks and everything. I think I would feel better if they were out of focus though, and maybe a little bit darker to create more of a frame. Maybe a secondary draw, right? Like you see the lock second.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just a hint of detail in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Would you have replaced the sky now that you have sky replacement superpowers?
Yes, I would have. I would have definitely put a little bit of cloud in there because it would
some dramatic, just some wispy clouds, nothing too stormy or dramatic, right?
This is true. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Everybody's going to know my clouds were done by Skyloom.
Hey,
Luminar 4, yeah.
The only people that will care about that or know what you're talking about are other photographers, and that's not who you shoot for, right?
This is true. Yeah, they don't care. Yeah.
All right. Ernest Hallett. Ernest says, we are all adults here. I assume so. Gorgeous female. Curves at 40. All the best.
I like the title. That's a cool title.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool title.
And he's the only one that actually did the female figure.
Yeah.
With curves. Yeah, I would have thought that would have been obvious. But, I mean, maybe it's too obvious. So.
Yeah. I love the black and white, obviously, because that's always my favorite. I feel like the pose is very unnatural, in that hand placement, because you can see fingers sticking out from shoulders, feet. We can't really see a face. This is one that maybe push in really tight and show some abstract from the back and the musculature and the shoulder blades and the curve on the right side into the legs and things. Like you could really push in and crop that, and I think you'd make a really wonderful abstract from that.
I agree. Yeah, it's all. Most photographs are about story, right? And when I look at this, if I look at it in its entirety like this, I'm trying to figure out a story. Like, why is this woman, looking at the wall? What's the story here? Because like even if she was sort of looking back at the camera, sort of semi-seductively, then that's a story, right? You could sort of fill in the blank why she's in that position, looking seductively or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if she's looking at the wall, what did a bank robber, jump in there? It's like, get in that chair, put your hands where I can see them, and don't.
No, this feels to me like an in-between poses. Like this is moving from one pose to the other, and she's like waiting for instruction. And it may not have been that way. I mean, maybe this is a pose that just didn't quite reach its fruition. Mm-hmm. But all the elements, the head and the face and the eyes and the body and the twist and the torso, we just need more happening there that tells a more story. So I would say push in. You got some wonderful sculpting of the body that you can choose from there and crop. And I think you got a great image with that. Yeah.
Good
job on the black and white though. 2 thumbs up for that.
Yeah, and using those curves with the folds of the fabric that she's on too.
Yeah,
depending definitely on how you process, kind of bring them in together. So yeah, that'd be interesting. Well, cool shot with a key line, no less. Look at that.
No key line. That's a border.
Oh, that's a border. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You'll catch on.
One day.
Yeah, someday.
No, I don't know much about this stuff. Michael Rhino is up next. Michael says, my entry for the curves theme is a late afternoon photo from Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado. Nikon D850.
Wow. Can you ride on those? I wonder if you can ride on that.
I see footprints, so yeah, why not? Well, you mean
dirt bikes, trucks?
You mean will they let you, or is it dense enough to ride on?
Well, you can always ride on it. It may not be allowed though.
Yeah.
I love the dunes. This is amazing. Now I realize it's cliche, but I think this needs to be black and white.
Yeah.
I don't think that the tan color is helping, and I don't think the blue sky is contrasting enough. The foreground is a little bit hot, so I'd like to burn that down. And I think that going black and white would just add a whole lot of graphical elements, and then crop off like half the sky and like half the foreground, so that the path, the footsteps in the sand actually exit out of the far right lower corner would be my favorite.
Yeah, that would be cool. This one, when I look at the shot, it reminds me of the previous shot, and what kind of the comments we were giving over body curves and contours and doing abstracts out of that. This almost looks like a body if you look at it from that lens. You can see it's like legs and whatever. You could totally push your mind to that level with this shot.
Yeah. And then just make sure that you clean up those dust spots. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 6 or 7 on the right.
These guys are yeah. I see those.
Yeah.
It doesn't take too much. It takes a second to get rid of all those. So.
Right. You know how to remove dust spots?
Do I what?
You know how to remove dust spots?
Oh, I took a course on it, but I got bored. All right, next shot. Oh, okay. So, the swords are out now. Okay.
No.
All right, here we go.
About how much you shoot. I didn't mention that at all.
Oh, look at that. First blood. Look at that. All right. Thomas Aaron is up next. Thomas says,
scary.
This is scary. He says, wormhole named by my friend Jim Peters. Made this for the critique, decided not to use it, then changed my mind, been attempting creativity straight out of camera, zero post-processing. See, that needs to be a t-shirt. Just like zero post-processing, only photographers will know.
Yeah, that's true.
It's my buddy Timo on the motorcycle trip to Moab. All right.
Oh, I thought that looked familiar. Yeah. Yeah, I know right where that's at. God, it's a crazy shot trying to wrap my head around all the elements that are going on in there.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. There's a lot of competing elements in an image like this. The birds, those would be gigantic birds, by the way, in context to him and his ratio and stuff. I think those like pterodactyl sized birds. But that's okay.
Why not? This is a surrealistic world.
That's true. Yeah.
They get that big from flying in circles like this for so many years.
The wormhole causes big birds.
Yeah. It's all kinds of radiation coming off that lightning there, which causes rapid growth of fowl.
Okay.
You can tell I've been reading science fiction lately. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, my head's deep into time travel. So that right there is, he's a time traveler. He's getting ready to head back.
Awesome. No, cool shot. I love the attempt at the compositing too. This is creative. This is curvy for sure.
As far as like a general image critique would go, if our subject is Timo standing up on the cliff, we need to see him more. He should stand out more. So as a composite, I would do some dodging and burning on him to make it look like he's being lit by some distant off light from the right, and then create some depth and dimension in the image by creating some haze in the mountains in the background so it feels like they're further away, things like that. Soften the birds a little bit out of focus so they look like they're further away. Just create some of those dimensional elements that you might see in a real scene. Yeah, and I don't know what that dome is on the left behind Timo.
Oh, this? Yeah. Was that the moon? What is that? What's going on there?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you'll have to let us know.
It's a mushroom cloud. It's the top of a mushroom cloud or something.
There you go.
I don't know.
See, your mind instantly goes to post-apocalyptic. Look at that.
I do. That's it. That's where my brain's at all the time.
Uh-huh. All right. Next shot is from Craig Stampfli. This is a shot I was telling you about that was named Pandering. Craig says, I bounced back and forth with what I was going to share for the curves critique. I went out specifically, shot a couple of different subjects, but couldn't make them work. I thought I could drag out an image of a beautiful model posing with barely anything on, but then I would have to censor for it for YouTube sensitivity eyes, so no bueno. In the end, I went for a black and white, square cropped keyline image of the Pacific Ocean at dawn. And this is possibly my only chance of coming on the top for a TWiP critique. So here you go. Pandering at Pincushion Island. See? I like the shot, man. Look at that. I even like that caption.
Oh, gosh. Had it been in color, it would have been my favorite. But
it is.
No, I'm kidding.
It's split toned. Come on.
No, I love it. This is definitely one of my favorites. I have a really hard time choosing. This is exquisite. This is my favorite subject ever, and and I'm just as jealous as all I can be that Craig has this so close to him. Yeah, this is beautiful. I love this. I would trim off the bottom a little bit. I feel like there's a little bit too much foreground. Get that wave instead of being right in the center.
Or you mean crop it down because he's got a square crop here. So
crop up from the bottom. I like
crop up from the bottom.
Yeah, I like the vertical space, but the lower space I think is a little bit too much. But it's perfect. That's a perfect image right there.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. Like I could definitely see hanging this one in the house. This one and Stephen Scharf's, I could see.
Oh,
hanging.
I know.
I could see them hanging on the wall
side by side.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, side by side. Yeah, with we need a third abstract sort of shot like that to make a triptych.
Yes, we do. Ooh, what could we use? I don't know. Peter didn't submit anything, did he?
You hurt his feelings last time with your
maybe.
He's like constantly beating the guy down. Come on,
Peter. Don't be a wuss.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Next shot. Thanks, Craig, for that one. I like that shot a lot, by the way. Freddie Sedano's up next, and he says, boats, boats, boats. Shot on a flying thingy air. That's awesome. Mavic Air. I'm looking at the Skydios now. Sorry, Freddie Sedano.
That little pocket-sized drone?
Well, the one that has that alien technology that allows it to follow you and avoid trees and everything. I want that.
Wow.
You probably haven't seen it. You gotta look at it.
I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it. I'm not a drone guy.
Yeah, because you crashed them. This one won't allow you to crash it.
Oh, well, shoot. I was going to put it on the list with avocado and flamingos.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's called flying for a reason. You want to stay in the air when you fly, and avoid, solid objects. Curves, Freddie Sedano.
He's got some curves in here, right? This is a killer shot. This is really cool. Yeah. Guess what my eye went to right away?
Bottom right hand corner. That thing.
See, it's a freaking curse, man. I'm telling you, I see those things first.
Your eye's like an HDR camera. It just scans for different things in different layers.
This is really great, though. I love the composition and the angle. There's not a lot of curves in this one, really. Like it's not heavy on the curves, but as a shot goes, this is really great. I like it. I didn't know you could fly on Catalina, so that's nice.
I've never been out there. Have you been out there?
I've been out there a long time ago. You have to take a boat, which makes me ill, or you fly in like a death plane, which I don't like. So.
The death plane? Is that an airline I don't know about? First bag's free.
I'll ride a jet ski from Balboa or Dana Point out there. I'll do that before I'll get on one of those ferries.
Oh, jeez. The sea life, there's probably sea life that's bigger than that jet ski and you that could eat you. Just saying.
Yeah, but they have to catch me, so.
All right, James Bond.
You got that right.
There you go. Troy Miller.
No, I love the shot, Freddie. I don't really have a lot to add. As I wish we could see the end of the island to the left. I think that would really add to the story. I think that the peninsula ends right there. That might be kind of cool if it was included. But other than that, I think it's very, very well done. It's really nice. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Except for dun 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 that.
Yes, this is true.
That is the thing of nightmares.
Nobody else sees those. Why is it only me?
Everyone sees them. Well, maybe not to the degree that you do, but we see a lot of them.
Oh, two more images.
All right, Mark Harris is up next.
Now, this is the guy I expected to put in some bodyscapes.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
Mark says, for curves theme, while in Yellowknife, what is it? NT, I don't know what that is. northern Toronto, Canada. My wife and I explored several locations to view the Aurora Borealis. We were fortunate to have good views 4 out of the 6 nights we were there. This is the last of the clear nights at a small boat launch area at the end of V Lake Road along the Ingram Trail. Shot this with his Nikon D850.
Yes. Putting that Nikon to work. I dig it. This is nice. I've never shot the Aurora.
Why not? Well,
because it's way over there.
Up there.
Yeah, over there, up there.
Yeah. Well, there's a southern Aurora as well, so you could go south.
Probably. No, I've never seen it. So, I mean, I've never been there in person. So but I understand the method that it takes to photograph. And this is really cool. I love the colors, and the stars are nice and sharp, and they haven't blurred. So the exposure's, sub 20 seconds kind of thing.
Yeah.
20 seconds. Did I say that right? Yeah. Yeah. 20 seconds. I dig it. I wish we had a little bit more foreground, right? Like that's always
in silhouette, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's always the hard thing when you're shooting the sky is what's your secondary hook? What's your draw, your leading lines into your image? Is it a tree or a lake or a road or a pond? And oftentimes those are really, really hard to find.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's leaning to the right.
Yeah, it is slightly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Slightly leaning.
Slightly. Nice. Your superpowers are out today.
Yeah.
Nice.
But see, I couldn't find a white fleck that's not supposed to be there. So I'm happy.
You don't know. They're blending.
Those could all be dust spots. I don't know.
Exactly. Oh, man. Very cool. Mark Harris, thank you, sir.
Yes.
All right. And last but not least, from Amy Brooks. Amy says, these are the famous Rowena Crest curves, which are part of the historic Columbia River Highway in Oregon. If I had time, I would go out at night and take a time lapse with car streaks going through. Shot this with her Fuji X Pro 2, 16 millimeter.
I like it. So if we knew the license plate number of that Corvette, he could get a citation for crossing the double yellow line.
Yes, he could. Yes, he could. That's the first thing that bothers you. The first thing is that driver is irresponsible.
We don't condone that. However, that's a good road to drive a Corvette on.
Oh, man. I want to drift around that corner if I knew how to drift.
It's great. It's sliding out of control, or in control mostly.
Oh, you know how to do that?
Yeah, I used to do it in the dirt with my truck when we do off-road racing. You got to power slide. We call it power sliding, not drifting.
Oh, okay.
You steer with the rear. You steer with horsepower.
Nice.
I can teach you. It's fun.
I want to do it. Yeah, let's do it.
I do love the
Segway.
shot.
I wonder if my Segway could do that.
Nah, I'd like to watch you try. I'll be filming in slow motion.
In slow motion. As Frederick flies off the thing into oncoming traffic.
You know what? What do you think? Should this be black and white? I think it should be black and white.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think it could go. It's fine both ways. Would it be more dramatic in black and white? Probably. Because I think in black and white, what the message that I would get instantly is, oh, the photographer's trying to tell me about this curve.
Right.
I get that same thing with it in color, but I'm also distracted by that interesting looking foliage in the middle of the curve.
Right.
And, it's why is it yellowish over there? Oh, I wonder how big those trees are on the left. I start going there versus it being, oh, it's about the curve.
You know what would have made this shot perfect?
What's that?
Had it been photographed in infrared.
Oh, yes. Yep. Right. Because those,
yep.
And what would happen here if this was an infrared shot? Those yellowish things would go kind of bright white.
Yeah, the grass and the light green and the yellows would go bright, and the road would go dark, and the pine trees in the back would go light. So you get this really amazing separation between the road and the foliage, and the line down the middle would stay really bright, the double yellow line.
Oh.
So it would be a very graphical element. Yeah, it'd be stunning in infrared. We should go up there and photograph it.
I think so, man. But we'd have to have a drone. Is she on a cliff, or is this a drone shot?
Well, she took it with a handheld Fuji.
Oh, the Fuji,
right?
yeah. So she's standing on a cliff then. Okay. So we could do this. Okay.
Yeah. TWiP trip.
Yeah, look at that. I see TWiP everywhere in this shot. This is cool.
That's beautiful, though. I mean, I want to be there.
Maybe I'll have a Range Rover by then.
Let's do it. Let's go photograph it. That's it, right?
And that's it. Yeah. You know, we might have to have a twofer today. Because my favorites are Steven's and Craig's.
I know. Can they share the title of most amazing curves?
I think so.
I think they can.
I think they can share the title because both of these are outstanding.
Yeah.
Like my dad would say, they're like a farmer. They're like a farmer outside. He's outstanding in his field.
Okay. Or it's like a photographer with the camera. Exactly. Or a surgeon with a scalpel.
There you go.
There's so many of those. Yeah, I think it's good. I think that's great. I can't choose between those two. I would feel bad choosing one over the other because they are both exceptional.
Yep, I agree.
And so as get it. Just as a reference, because you guys have all, judged for us at our competitions, so you'll understand the scores. I could see both of these images being in the hundreds, if not, super high 90s, right? Like really high scores. Yeah. Nearly perfect.
My camera's acting crazy for some reason. Did you see that a second ago?
I did.
Yeah, it's acting weird. I don't know. Well, we're at the end of the show anyway, so I'll sort it after we hang up. But I'm not coming back on camera because it's not working. So you're gonna have to close us out. There you go.
All right. Well, hey, that about wraps it up. We've got a Craig Stampfli with his waves and Stephen Scharf with his architecture. They both get number one because we can't choose. We love them both so much. So I picked one, he picked the other. We're not going to declare which ones we pick though. So
there you go.
That's it. Hey, thanks for joining us for another TWiP Photo Critique. See you around.
This is TWiP.